This is All India Radio. Please stand by for our next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Indian Express, in its editorial title, A Dismal Frame, writes, with the fall of the H.D. Kumaraswamy government following a trust vote on Tuesday, the BJP, the single largest party in the assembly, is expected to form the government. There is still no clarity, however, on the strength of the House, since the Speaker is yet to rule on the resignations of 16 MLAs. Their party leaderships have sought their disqualification. It is likely that the Speaker's actions, whichever way he rules, may be challenged in the court. The Supreme Court already has a bunch of pleas on the Karnataka crisis to decide. Beyond the moral dimensions of the crisis and the question it raises about a host of institutions, including the office of the Speaker and Governor, the events in Karnataka lay out a challenging political predicament, particularly for the opposition. Karnataka has once again underlined that the BJP's hunger for political domination is insatiable. Since 2014, the party has been expanding across the country, winning state after state. Under the leadership of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, the party has come to believe that the winner takes all and has sought to form governments even in the states it failed to win. The opposition has been slow and clueless in facing up, much less matching or countering the BJP. In fact, Karnataka was an exception where the opposition outwitted the BJP to form a government 14 months ago. The Congress and the JDS, which fought against each other and finished behind the BJP, joined hands to form government. The Congress's decision to let the smaller party, the JDS, occupy the Chief Minister's office was perceived to be an indication of the opposition's readiness to set aside differences for a larger cause. In retrospect, neither party was willing to make this coalition of unnatural allies work. That it failed to deliver seats in the general election seems to have convinced the Congress that the limited investment it had made in the coalition was not worth it. The BJP's will to form a government, the contradictions within the coalition and the ambitions of the latter's legislators seem to have converged in this moment. The failure of the JDS-Congress government to hold up raises larger questions about the opposition's capability to put up a united front against an expanding BJP. The glue that held the opposition together in Karnataka was the fear of the BJP. That no longer seems effective, as various opposition parties, devastated by the May 23 verdict, have moved apart and now seem to act listlessly. Even as the BJP relishes the absence of competition, the unchecked emasculation of the opposition does not augur well for a robust democracy. The Economic Times, in its editorial title, Gratifying Rise on Innovation Index, says, innovation has increasingly gained importance as a driver of economic growth on par with investment. Growth and R&D spends has been outstripping growth of GDP for the world as a whole for several years. And countries that take the lead in this effort will reap the gains in the years to come. India has not been doing a bad job. In a ranking of nearly 130 countries on innovation by the World Intellectual Property Organization that brings out the Global Innovation Index, India has risen 24 positions in the last 4 years to rank 52nd. This is creditable, but then China ranks 14th. Malaysia, Vietnam and Thailand rank ahead of India. Singapore ranks 8th. Tiny Israel has broken into the top 10. Sanctions hit Iran still manages to rank 61st. The United Arab Emirates ranks 36th. India can and should do a lot more. The index is a composite of 80 indicators that measure creative output, quality of institutions, investment, quality of education, and so on. But innovation is in essence a mindset, a vision whose translation into a realized output calls for enabling factors and institutions. If India's 1.3 billion people, particularly the 650 million aged 25 or less, acquire the innovation mindset, nothing can hold the country back. The Times of India, in its editorial title, Boris Takes Over, writes, Boris Johnson is the new Prime Minister of the UK, having secured victory in the leadership race of the Conservative Party. Johnson won 66% of the votes of party members, almost twice as many as his rival Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt. The leadership race was triggered after outgoing British Premier Theresa May decided to step down as Conservative leader in June. This was after she failed to sell her Brexit withdrawal agreement to the British Parliament. But her replacement Johnson pitches an ever harder line on Brexit and has said that he will leave the European Union with or without a deal come the October 31st deadline. However, no Brexit will be disastrous for the UK, causing much disruptions to trade, business and people. Johnson ideally wants to rewrite the Brexit deal, but Brussels is in no mood to relent. Besides, the British Parliament, while rejecting May's soft Brexit deal, which envisaged a combined customs territory and a 21-month transition period with EU, has also voted against a no-deal Brexit. Therefore, if Johnson tries to push through his do-or-die approach to Brexit, it could trigger another leadership crisis within the Conservative Party. That said, Johnson does bring a new energy to the British Prime Ministership that had started to look